Welcome back. Let's get you to quickly respond to when the police talked about those who were arrested, why they were arrested, and where they were arrested. Do you agree with the points that he's highlighted there?
Yeah, Afenifere will always regret the police position on this issue because initially the police were trying to do their job. The Osun State Police Command arrested from the two communities, both the Hausa community in Ife and also the Yoruba community. And they were all taken to Abuja, but surprisingly, they were screened out. And people were further picked up from different locations.
Who was screened out?
You have people of northern extraction arrested who are part of the 18 were screened out.
Those are those ones arrested at the scene?
At the scene, yes. Leaving only 20 people who are being paraded. Those 20 people, most of them were not arrested at the scene. They were picked up from different locations. Like the police PRO has kindly, provided that information that the woman that was assaulted was arrested at Ibadan. The person that arrested that assaulted the woman has not been arrested. The person is left, to go scot-free. You also have people, the Oba Ademiluyi, who everybody ran for their lives. When you have a communal clash, you see people running to safety, expecting the police to restore peace before returning. The Oba left his domain because there was a clash between two communities, and the police needed to restore, restore peace. Apparently, the police went after the Oba for not being at the scene of the crime. He was not arrested at the scene of the crime.
Is that the reason they gave?
Well, the police arrested the Oba outside. He was in Lagos.
Right. The 18 that were released, the 18 that were released, according to the police PPRO, he said those ones were investigated by the police and they were found not to be culpable in this crisis.
But they were arrested by the Osun State Police Command, who were the police force was on the ground on the day of the incident. They have two different teams on ground, and they did a thorough job. They arrested from both communities. The moment they were taken to Abuja, we have this vital information lost. The fact that somebody's head was severed, and we also realized that the moment they got to Abuja, they were screened out in a way that it's only one community, involved in the clash.
Does Afenifere have, or anybody have any record of the person's head who was severed?
Will the head of somebody within Ife that actually caused the problem.
So was there any image, did you?
There were statements from different people. So many people affected the investigation.
So there are no pictures.
And because investigation has not been completed, that is why the police force is also on the panel, on the judicial panel set up by Osun State government, to look into this issue.
That 18, Parliamentary Button, of that 18 that you said were screened out, how many of those do you think were of the Hausa extraction?
Many of them were of the northern extractions.
Okay. Markwe?
Well, a quick question for Mr. Showme. Just wondering, would you say that, looking at what happened there, would you say that, the Yorubas, for instance, could have inflicted more injury, considering that they were the host community out of anger? Could they have done that?
Well, it is possible. What happens is there are casualties on both sides, both the wounded and the fatalities. No doubt about that. So it's quite clear that two different groups were involved. Who has more casualties than the other? I don't know. I don't have that information. It's only the police that will have that. But what became clear, and what is obvious is that when two communities are involved in a clash, you arrest from both communities because there are fatalities on both sides. We cannot do a partial policing by arresting and parading them. The police will not deny that Northerners were arrested by Osun State Police Command at the scene of the crime. So also some Yoruba people were arrested at the scene of the crime. Further people were picked up from different locations. They were moved to Abuja. Once they got to Abuja, the people of northern extraction were clearly screened out. We will not lose the fact that the IG is
Don't
from
you
the
think
north.
that information is important? The information about the number of casualties on either side, because the police is also scared that this could cause a reprisal in other parts of the country. Don't you think that information is important?
It's important. I would rather go with the official figure, which is about 47, I think, or 46. That's the figures being given by the Nigerian police force. I would rather go with that. But the fact of the matter is, our own concern is there will always be problem between communities. We need to live together.
47 people from where? Don't you think that information is important? You say you speak for the Yoruba people. Shouldn't you be able to say how many people died on the Yoruba side?
Yes, you are absolutely correct, because Afenifere itself needs to have access to the families. As I'm speaking to you, a team of Afenifere leaders will be going to Ife today on, again, this fact-finding, because we need to know how many people died and ask for more information. We are hoping that the judicial panels being set up by the Osun State government would eventually give us a figure that we can rely on how many died on both sides. Currently, I do not have that information.
At the moment, you have some lawyers.
Well, Mr. Mashood, I'm going to...
that are in Abuja trying to sort out this issue.
Yes.
What do you expect that will result into?
Because we would not have gotten involved to the point of sending in a legal team. But the attitude of the police in relation to this very particular case, was what baffled us. And we said, okay, we need to ensure that things are done fairly. Many of those people paraded were not arrested at the scene. They were picked up from their homes and in different places in questionable circumstances. So we have a duty to defend them, because it's a matter of having to defend our own people rather than allow them to be dealt with by the force.
Okay, let's get to Abuja and find out why the man who you say assaulted the wife was not arrested. Can the PRO speak to us on that matter now?
Thank you so much. Let me start, first of all, I'll go to your question that it is unfair for Afenifere to get to this level because if you look at the 46 people that were killed, like I said earlier on, there's no any Yoruba man that have reported in any police station that whether his son or daughter or husband or wife or relative were killed or were missing.
Are you saying then that no Yoruba people died?
That's an inference we want people to draw, because we should be mindful of uniting Nigeria and the more and allow investigation to take proper course. If Afenifere is sending lawyer, I think it's good at that level, but not infringing or inciting people against police investigation.
But Mr. Mashood,
but to go to the question
what
from
that
Lagos,
inference means, what that inference means is that you're saying that the 46 people that died, or thereabouts,
the lot of things that goes, there are a lot of
from one particular ethnic
there are a lot of
extraction.
things.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm telling you that they have there's no any complaint from the other side, because a lot of things, most of this body were mutilated, some of them were burned. We all have duty to play.
Have they been buried?
I won't go into that because that's part of the investigation.
Well, we need to know, have they been buried or they're still being investigated?
It's not for public consumption on this, because the Afenifere have taken this issue beyond the ordinary, and it is unfair on the police, because we have to do a lot to ensure that there's no reprisal attack anywhere in the country. And since our intervention, normalcy has been restored, which is unusual with the tradition, or rather with the happening in the past in Ife. Crisis in Ife goes on for days, for weeks, and beyond that, and people are being killed, even when it involves people that are of the same tribe. And we are, the Inspector General of Police IGP Bankuto Idris MP MNI was mindful of that, and that is why that intervention was swiftly deployed there. And when many Nigerians outside of Afenifere have been commending the effort of the police to ensure that people that are equally Yoruba living across the country and other people are safe. If you are in a safe haven in Lagos and you are speaking from Lagos, other of your brothers are across the country which needed to be protected by the police. So I want to go away from that, because
let's answer this question now. Just a moment. Let's answer this question now. You say that the woman who was assaulted, whose assault snowballed into all of this, was arrested in Ibadan.
Yes.
The person who assaulted her?
The person who arrested her, that's another cause of further investigation, because that person, we don't know whether he's among the person killed. Up till now, up till as we're speaking.
So
now,
you have not been able to ascertain whether he's alive?
Or not. Or whether it's living, whether it's among those who died. And it is important for Afenifere to know that this is a very, very sensitive matter. And the way they are dragging it, they are doing disservice to the whole nation. They are not helping anybody. I make bold to say this. If they have anything to do in this regard, they should go and wait in court.
Some people are going to say that
everybody's going to be, that's where everybody is going to be had. But we have done a thorough job. Criminality and crime does not have any facial recognition or tribal, or if you are a criminal, you are a criminal. And that is why we are insisting that what happened in Ife is a criminal act.
Let me come in. People are saying, part of why it seems that there is a loss of confidence in terms of how the police has handled matters in recent times is also because of what has happened, not just this Ife crisis, because that's what will make people start looking at the ethnic extraction of people arrested in the event of a crisis. You saw what happened in southern Kaduna and how long it took the police to eventually intervene. You were able to arrest some people, but it took a while. In Benue State, we've seen what has happened there. There's been crises happening every now and again, and we do not see this arrest happening as swiftly as they ought to happen. And people are saying, is this some plan by the police to be on the side of a particular ethnic group against other ethnic groups?
Thank you so much. We are not on the side of anybody, either ethnic or religious or whatsoever. And that assertion, for people that bear it in mind, is not correct. And I take time off to let them know that that feeling or expression is completely wrong. In Southern Kaduna, we've been parading suspects that have been arrested. Mind you, I paraded over 30, getting to 39 suspects from Southern Kaduna. As more arrests have been made, we continue to parade those who are responsible. Equally in Benue, people have been prosecuted for causing mayhem, for killing people, for destroying properties. It's not only in Ife. Ife, we are mindful Ife because Ife, have history of a protracted crisis of.
Well, you have to find a place that doesn't have that history. Kaduna has history.
Yes,
Benue State has history.
Yes, I'm just giving you why we're moving swiftly. Because if we don't move in as swiftly as we have done, this will have snowballed into go beyond what anybody can prevent at this time. So our prevention and intervention at that time was very apt and was very swift. And I equally want people to know that we did this in the interest of national security and the interest of people who have been living together for years to continue to live together in peace.
Let's go to Lagos now and take questions from my colleagues.
All right, Mr. Moshood, could you tell us, I know you've said that you do not know if the man who assaulted the woman is among those who have died, but do you know, or does the police know the identity of the man in question?